So here I am in Chicago, sitting outside of the Navy Pier with this very awesome, intelligent woman who is brave enough to speak with me and my crew today. So Jen, tell everybody exactly what your job is again.
I am an environmental health and safety manager for a metallurgical coke producing company. We support the steel industry in Chicago.
Okay, and I know that you have moved up and out and into different careers, and you've had a pretty exciting career, and you're currently getting your master's. And what is your master's in, and where are you doing that?
International Occupational Health, Safety, and Environmental Sciences, and it's Oxford Brookes in the UK.
Which is very impressive. Congratulations on that.
It will be really impressive in 6 months when my dissertation is approved.
That's awesome. You're very close. You're very close. So here's what I'm talking with people about today. My question is, can you tell us about the time that you did something crazy, the craziest thing you've ever done, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone?
Wow, that's a good one. I've done a lot of solo travel. I think that's probably one of the things. And when I was in China, we were at a little cafe that had a floor show, and there was a girl whose talent was to spin large objects on her feet. And at some point, I didn't speak Chinese. I got pulled out of the crowd and put into a very large garden urn and put up on this poor girl's feet, and she spun me. And it was probably one of those things where you just have to appreciate the moment and go with the flow. But hey, I have forever know that I can fit in a garden urn and be spun on one.
That is amazing. I love that. So what advice can you give my audience about getting out there and doing something that you've never done before? Because, I'm on a 50-state tour right now, and a lot of people probably think that's pretty crazy. So what is your advice about getting outside of that comfort zone?
Don't be afraid to stay off your destination tour or track and be open to possibilities. And really, if you don't care about other people's opinions in terms of, being embarrassed or doing something silly, you're going to have more fun than if you, stick to your itinerary, only do the things that you think you're supposed to do. I've met more amazing people that I've been friends with my whole life than because I bumped into them in line at a bar or at an attraction and we struck up a conversation and I've been in their wedding, stuff like that. You just never know where being kind and polite will take you a really long way in life, and not being afraid to just be yourself and be a little silly and a little crazy sometimes.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. It's really been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Okay, so here I am, still in Chicago, outside of the Navy Pier, watching people cruise around, talking to people, complete strangers, about their passions, about times that they have jumped outside of that comfort zone. So I'm doing that right now with my friend Bob. Bob, I've never done this before, done random interviews with people. Most of the interviews I do are set up. So you are the second person I'm speaking to just totally off the cuff today. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fairly intimidating thing to start doing.
It is intimidating, but I'm trying to help my audience get outside of their comfort zones, So here I have Bob, and I also have Marquise. Okay, so we are just sitting around this cement picnic table. We have the water. We're on Lakeshore Drive. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. The sun is finally shining. And Bob and Marquise and I just having a conversation about comfort zones. So Bob, can you tell me a time that you really did get outside of that comfort zone?
Well, really, when I just moved up to Chicago, I have been working down in St. Louis and got an offer in Chicago and packed up all my stuff and moved within a couple weeks of figuring it out and came up here. And it was a bit of a rough go of it, and it makes you wonder if it was the right thing to do. But eventually things come together, and it seems to be working out for the best. And you just got to challenge yourself to do things you're not necessarily comfortable with.
So, and tell everybody what it is that you do and where you work.
I'm an aircraft mechanic out at O'Hare. I work for one of the airlines, and I make sure those planes that are flying every day are safe to be in the air.
And so what kind of struggles or challenges did you have when you first got here that made you feel like jumping outside of that comfort zone? And you acted pretty quickly with only a few weeks to make that move.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I was working at a place that wasn't super amazing. It was some stuff I wasn't super comfortable with that was going on there, and I just decided that I didn't want to deal with that anymore. So I packed up, found another job, and came up here. And that job didn't wind up working out either. So I got a little worried, and finally this current airline I'm working for called me up and wound up telling us a lot of good stuff, and it seems like it's going to be a great place to work.
So what would your advice be to listeners then about getting outside of that comfort zone on the career front?
Just because something seems scary doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. A lot of times, I know a lot of people who are stuck in dead-end jobs in what in other places are wonderful career fields, but they've decided they're only willing to stay in their little comfort zone of an area, and they get themselves boxed in. So be willing to take on those challenges and those moves and those risks. They're going to bring you out and open you up to things you never thought you'd experience or do.
Excellent. Marquise, let's talk to you now.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so talk to us about a time that you stepped outside of your comfort zone.
Okay, a time when I stepped outside of my comfort zone, I would probably say my first time taking a flight, actually getting on an airplane. And my first flight was, I went to Miami for a day for a job interview. First time getting on a flight, didn't know what to expect, didn't know how long the flight was going to be. You know, I'm scared of heights, so I'm like 60,000, 50,000 feet in the air, so I'm like, whoa, this is something new to me. And I went through it. It was a struggle, but I went through it.
So you are also an airplane mechanic.
Yes, ma'am, coincidentally.
And where are you from originally?
I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised.
And then you moved to Chicago also, and you work out at O'Hare. And how long have you been here?
I've been here a total of a week now, a week.
Wow, only a week. So what's it feel like to get out of that comfort zone and jump states just like Bob did?
It's something new, but it was for a great opportunity. I wanted to set myself up for a great future, so I understand that it's a sacrifice, and I prepared my mind for it, and I did it. I made that jump.
So what's, ironic about the whole thing, very funny, is that you're an airplane mechanic who had never taken a flight.
Exactly, and once I took that flight, it was all up here from there. It was so great. I loved it.
How has that changed your perspective on your job, on working on airplanes? Has it changed your perspective when you're working on the planes now since you've flown?
Yes, it has, because first of all, it makes me want to get on planes more. It makes me want to take more flights. It makes me want to discover more things about airplanes that I never knew, that I never known. And this is dig deep into it about the history and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's really neat. And, the two of you now have the opportunity, since you work for the airlines, you have the opportunity to fly and travel more and get more outside of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, it's very big. It allows me to continue on to like where I want to live long term. I mean, right now Chicago is where I'm at, but through career progressions, I can eventually live and work in London or Paris or Rome or anywhere in the world, really. It's a marketable skill, and it's universal. Every country in the world has aircraft that fly in and out of it, and somebody has to be there fixing them.
That is a really great point. And I'm curious if we have anybody out there listening to what you're saying right now who will be inspired to look into that field as a profession.
I really hope there is. I think that a lot of the blue-collar work is looked down upon by society these days. And it really needs to be brought up that you can make a great living and you can get insanely good benefits and all these other things from being at the airlines. You can, and not just airlines, there's other professions like these where you can make as much, if not more money than you could if you were working out of a 4-year college degree. So we've really got to bring these things back to relevance. They've kind of died off because we've had this emphasis on everyone has to go to college and get a bachelor's degree. And I just have a license. I don't even have an associate's degree, and I'm in a great career field. And if I don't want to, I don't ever need to go back to school again.
And Marquise, for you, now that you fly, you can do the same with this love for travel that you've just started. You can begin to travel more.
Right, and I'm going to travel more. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, me and my buddies are going to Miami for the weekend to have a little fun, but safe fun. And of course, I'm going to use my travel benefits and just explore the world, because I feel like if you got an opportunity to travel, why wouldn't you? You're only cheating yourself. Get out and see the world and get outside your comfort zone and do things, have fun. So yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. And you know what? The other woman who is going to be on this episode with you two for tomorrow's show, she also talked about travel, and her experience that was most outside of her comfort zone happened in China. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of today's show is don't just get out of your comfort zone, get out of your state or even out of your country to do it. So that's it. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, guys. And everybody, remember, you motivate me. I'm Lynette Renda.
And I talk to you, and I talk to you, and I talk to you, and I talk to you. And we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate. We try to relate. This is my breakthrough. Whoa. Said now, this is my breakthrough.